Okay, I think we are recording.
There
I
we
got it
go.
recorded, Arthur. Don't worry.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
There we go.
Stop. No. Cancel. Sorry.
Okay. Michael Sullivan, you've got us recorded?
Yes, it's recording.
Very good. And thank you for joining us. It's nice to have you with us. Okay. Call to order and welcome, 7:45, administrative orders items. First item is to approve the minutes from the January 5th committee meeting, which were in the packet. And
Hmm.
Michael, thank you for correcting that packet. It got a little messed up there when you posted it, but you fixed it this morning, so we're grateful for that. Are there any comments on the minutes? Okay. We need a motion to approve, please. So moved. Second.
Second.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, approved. And Alexa, welcome. Alexa, I'd like you to meet Logan Rayburn. I think you know everybody else on the call. Logan is our new tech contractor to help us do the voter roll, and he's already taken a deep dive into the various spreadsheets, and he's getting off to a good start this year. He'll be doing a report a little later in this meeting. Logan, I'm pleased to have you meet the rest of the crew. Arthur Alexander, when you put your face on Arthur, so Logan can. Arthur is our council chair this year,
You don't want to
longtime
really see
councilman.
me. You don't want to
Oh
see
yeah,
me.
we do. There, Arthur, I'd like to introduce you to Logan. Logan, this is Arthur, our chair. So we've got two council members here tonight,
Bill.
Very
and
nice to
here's
meet you
Jack.
guys. Hello.
Um,
I'll be on a
and
video
we're
in just a sec.
okay. We've approved the minutes. Next step is to review the voter roll verification process. And the committee members went over that in some detail when we briefed you, on Sunday, I guess it was last week, this past Sunday. And are there any questions it's in the packet for this meeting. Are there any questions for anybody about the process? Yeah, the really nitty-gritty mechanics of how it's done. It's just very methodical, very systematic because it has to be very accurate. Okay. And Logan, again, we'll come back
Um,
later for a little briefing report from you. Just any administrative questions about the voter roll verification process.
Oh.
Alexa,
um, I
anyone?
have a question.
Sure.
The the I don't know if this is the place to ask it, but the response that you're expecting on the first spreadsheet that Logan has sent around when you're asking for us to comment on our knowledge from our knowledge of neighbors who are may not be on the list or let's say duplicates. I took a quick look at it and I did find some duplicates. So is that the kind of thing you want us to put in the
Yes,
count
in the comments,
in the
just go
column for
yeah, go
these?
through and identify any duplicates. Like I know your Jeffrey is listed as both Jeff and Jeffrey Goldberg.
My Jeffrey Michael, right? He's there
Yeah.
twice, and the other Jeff Goldberg is also listed twice.
Yeah, over
Yeah,
that's Paula's
but
husband.
that's okay. I mean, that's probably from two different sources in two different
Exactly.
ways, right?
Exactly.
And
It
and
shows you
Logan
how
wouldn't know which is which, so that's up to
that's
us
why
to,
we do the initial
yeah,
screening. It comes through
yeah.
us first to clean it up as much as we can from our knowledge.
All right.
And just put your comments in the margin. The spreadsheet that Logan sent us is set up for us to just type in your comments and say this is a duplicate and put your initials on that. On the ones that I've got MJL and then delete this duplicate, use the other name, use the other
Okay.
version. So, and where you have a question about somebody, if you think somebody um, who's not colored in blue or yellow um, is not there anymore. I mean, basically, if somebody was on both the office list and the voter roll last year, they were left with no color because that looks like it's the same person from year to year. If there is no inconsistency, no discrepancy, um, there's no color on it. But take a look at the whole list and just kind of read through it and put in your comments where you can. And then you'll make a copy of that spreadsheet, put your initials on that spreadsheet and send it back to Logan because he's command central. He'll be consolidating all the comments that we get from all five of us. And you don't need to comment on everybody by a long shot, just the ones you know, but to just do that initial screening, um, because there are quite a few duplicates. It shows you how different the office list is from the voter roll. The directory is not the same thing as the voter roll by a long shot. And the office list of residents, not only does it have move in and move out information, but it also has slightly different variations on names. And that
Mm-hmm.
can cause problems. Like we have two James Joyces in the neighborhood. They both live on Chestnut Street, and their father and son, the only difference between them is their middle initial and their age.
Oh,
So That's one reason why we do the initial screening comes through us to help clean it up as much as we know from our institutional and personal knowledge.
I
So
have
if
a
you could do that
question
in the next
about
few
that
days,
process.
Mike,
I'm tech challenged. I've never really worked with Excel, despite all my stuff. I do a lot of word processing and things like that. First question I had was, here's the Excel spreadsheet, open it. Well, there are several options for opening it. I didn't know which one to use. I'm going to have some baby steps going through that process to start going on it, but I'll start playing with it a little bit and see what happens.
that'd be great. And if all
You
else
need
fails,
Excel.
Mike, you can always print out a copy and call me or
Okay.
call Logan and just go down the list and have Logan enter your comments there. We can do, old school stuff here too.
Okay.
Logan, you wouldn't mind a phone call from Mike Z, would you? He's good to
Yeah,
go with it.
it's all good.
All right.
Yeah, but if you just want to print it out and then make your own comments, write it on a piece of paper and call Logan, I think that might be the fastest thing rather than spending a lot of time trying to become an Excel wizard.
Well, it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of the Excel stuff, so maybe that's not a bad step to start with anyway. I'm going to have to
Well,
get used to this anyway. So,
I commend you for diving in. And if you have any problem technically, Jack, would you be willing to be a coach here on that for Mike Z?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. Jack is much more of a wizard with Excel than I am.
I have no doubt about that.
So thank you for being our tech expert.
Marty?
And I think, yeah, okay, cool. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Elizabeth?
Okay.
No, just can Logan maybe share his email with us, or I mean his telephone number
Yes.
on an email or whatever, if you don't want to do it now or
Yes, please don't do it here. This is a live meeting.
Okay.
right. Okay.
I'll email it after the meeting's
Fine.
over.
Thank you.
That's
Okay.
great.
Okay.
That's great. Any other questions? These are all good. Okay, and again, we've off to a good start here. Thank you, everybody, for in the next few days looking over that first list. It's called Document A or Spreadsheet A. And once we give Logan all of our input to it, all of our comments, he'll clean it up and hopefully reduce the number of people that still remain to be checked and get back to us with Spreadsheet A2, which is the first one with our comments reflected on it. Okay?
I have
All
a
right,
question.
Yes.
Should we, so I think Michael has some comments from from a survey that people have submitted that would make updates to his document, which is the it sounds like most up-to-date version. So should we wait until we have those updates before doing the verification process?
The verification process is stepwise. So this first step we should go ahead and get done this week as soon as possible, the next few days. Then we will go back and collect any additional information from Michael from the village office because there will be updates coming into the village each month. And we have the most recent list from Michael as of a week ago. Mike, is that right? Element, are you still on?
Yes, I'm here. That is correct. I will be sending a spreadsheet shortly. It's the beginning of the month. So once I go through the changes that I'm aware of from this month, as well as what Jack is talking about at the end of last year, beginning of January, I put out our directory update is coming. So I put out a call for if anyone had updated contact information, they could fill out a little form. And I'm sure some people did that. I just haven't had a chance to get into that list. So
Okay.
I'll combine those, the changes from January as well as the any responses to that form and combine those into a spreadsheet and send it over to you all so that you can update Logan's latest.
That's great. And Jack, what Logan will do is take the A2 spreadsheet, which has the committee's screening done, and then start adding in the stuff on the A3 spreadsheet, which is the main working spreadsheet to update the voter roll. So thank you both. Good question, Jack, and good answer, Michael. Anything
Okay,
else
and
on
Michael,
this?
so you'll send Logan the changes as well as the new document, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'll actually just combine them into one spreadsheet update and send it over to you all, including Logan.
Right, to the committee as well as to Logan, and thank you, Michael. So
Hopefully
again,
I'll have that this
we
week.
will be checking as we go, step by step through this. And the packet for this meeting has the step by step sort of breakout of how we do this very methodically.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions? It's an interesting process to actually do it really carefully and do it accurately, and that's important. Okay. Next steps for the election work, that's also in your packet. Were there any questions about that? We're right on schedule in terms of keeping this train on the track. Any questions about that in the packet?
The second.
Okay, do you want to take a look at it?
This has a new date on it, Marty, but is this basically the same as the one that I think
It's
we've
it's
seen
basically
before?
the same. What I did was when I looked at it to put it into the packet for this month,
Yeah,
I pulled out the stuff that we had to do every month, so it wasn't
okay,
repetitive, like,
all right,
that little blurb at the top that says, each month we have to do this, this, and this. Other than that, it's the same.
okay.
It just shortened
Okay.
the items a little bit. Nothing new there.
Oh, it'll be a busy next 2 months, though. There's a
It
lot
is,
going on.
yeah. We have
February
the
and
voter
March.
roll, plus we get the ballot packets ready.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff that goes
The
into doing an election.
the contract with the Electech
Yeah, that was a
and
question I had for Michael, which is where are we on the contract, Michael Silliman? Where are we on the contract for Electech? Michael, are you there? Michael Silliman?
Oh, sorry, I stepped away for a second. What was that?
Contract with Electech, where is that?
Oh, I did talk to Nikki, and then the snowstorm hit, so I don't think I've gotten a chance to finalize that. But we're all good, and the dates are all saved in their calendar, so they're all prepared. Let me follow up on that email.
Great. Yeah, if you'd put that on your to-do list
Hmm.
and see if you can make some of the clarifications in the actual contract language. You have the markup that the last year's committee gave you that this year's committee concurred with.
Yeah. We've been going back and forth on that same thing about the wording on that one point about the cost if there's a runoff election.
Right.
And Nikki did confirm that it would be the same cost again, so we would be getting charged
Yeah.
twice if we have two elections.
Yeah. And again, the contract should just say that, which it doesn't sort of say right now.
Right. It's a little confusing. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can clarify that, that'd be great.
Hmm.
And let us know when it's signed, if you would. And zip a copy of the final signed contract over to the committee. And thank you for following up with that. All right. Anything else? Any other questions about the next steps in terms of the committee tasks, the work ahead of us? Okay, then moving right along. Updating the EC page of the village website. We voted last month at our committee meeting to go ahead and put the committee reports, the monthly reports that we do for the council, on the website page. And Michael Zielinski and I were talking about where they should go, whether we put them into the current year box, which is at the very top of that page on the website, where they'd be most easily found. If you put the current ones in that box, they'd show up better. Or to put them in the, if you go down through all the year boxes and you get to the columns where it says, agenda and minutes and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you could put a final column in
Right.
that column thing that said reports and have the report then tied to each monthly meeting. So
Right.
it's a question of formatting. It is not a life and death question. Either way would probably be fine. Do you have any strong feelings of how to put those reports on which place on the web page to put them?
Well, we talked about this. I think your original suggestion when you threw this out a couple of months ago was that put it in the second part where the committee meetings are itemized and, the agenda, the packet, and then seems like logically the committee report should come right after that and another column on that second thing. And I've come around. I think that's probably, for me, I think that's the better place to put it. Talk to Michael about it. He's ready to go with it as soon as he gets the EC reports, and you've given those to me. So once we figure out exactly where we want to put them, I will send them over to Michael, and he can put them up in on the website.
Any strong feelings about the location? Anybody else?
I have one quick comment on this. In the first table, I completely control that. I can call it what we want to call it. and just link it to the PDF there. In the second table, that's a little that's a template table there that's true for all of the committee pages. So if I put it there, it would just be called more or more documents that you would
That's,
click on. So I can't name it something
you
different
can't call
there.
it reports. Well, that would be a reason to put it back up on the
Change
first
things.
part of the page so
Just
people
put
can
X.
find it. The
Other
idea is,
documents. Yeah, that would be
yeah,
helpful.
yeah, more is too, I think, uninformative
Yeah,
because some of those committee reports are really, sort of key documents for people to
right,
know about election procedures.
right, right.
And
So
I could label, the clickable part. I could say this is the February report or this is the January report. So I do think the first table, I could create an entire another column on that first table with those reports named something different for each one.
Oh, that sounds
Well,
good. That sounds like a
Okay.
good compromise.
that would be the best, I think.
Yeah,
And the last thing I said to Mike was just if you all have them in a folder or something, you could send them to me versus me going through all the council meeting packets and finding them that way.
We will pull them out for you. No
Great.
sweat. We can do that. I
Okay.
have those.
Okay.
And Mike has some of them already.
That
I
will be
started-
easy. That will be pretty easy to do if you all send those over. So no problem.
okay,
We
okay.
like making your life easier, Michael. We really
Appreciate
do.
it.
We try. Okay, so do we have a committee consensus to put them in that first section on the page, the way Michael just described?
Yeah, for me.
Anyone opposed to that?
No,
All right. Good to go, Michael. That was a good
All right.
solution. Thank you.
Right.
We'll start feeding you the docs. In PDF, right? You want them in PDF?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I
what
can
you
put them in
sent me,
PDF
right?
and then send them to Mike Zielinski, who will work with you to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, we have no residents present here, but we have Alexa and Arthur. Alexa and Arthur, do you want to have any comments here at this moment as we move through our agenda?
Nothing for me.
Alexa? Alexa, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You're still muted, Alexa. Can you unmute yourself?
I don't see her.
There you go.
Yes, I'm unmuted and comment at the moment.
So no comments, questions, or suggestions at this moment in time? Okay.
Not at the moment.
All right. Well, you feel free to speak up anytime. All right, then. Moving on to the action items.
Thank you.
Committee, yes. Committee actions to encourage more candidates to run. We've already done the first of that. And Jack Swain, I want to thank you again for the excellent suggestion about nudge a neighbor being the theme this year to help, attract more candidates. I've already had one comment from a neighbor who thinks that's a great theme and really a perceptive way to go about this process. And
Did they give you a name or just tell you they like the idea?
They said they liked the idea and they were going to think about it. So I thought, okay, that's one step forward.
Cool.
So, and they thought it was very clever and creative, and they liked it because they said it was engaging, that it would engage people's interests, and make it.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. So anyway, that compliments. I love passing along good compliments, and you got some good ones for that. I give you credit for the idea. I gave the committee credit for being smart enough to know a good idea when we hear one and adopt it. So thank you, and that's and the end of the article looks really good. I think. Thank you everybody for helping to edit that newsletter article where we announced that. So that was the first opportunity. Next opportunity is February 20th, which is when we do the official announcement of the opening of the nomination period. And we'll need to work on a standalone public announcement that Michael Silliman will post on the 20th saying, whoopee team, here, election cycle starting, start thinking about it. Now you can start nominating and putting your own name in. And so that's a document that we will draft. And again, I look to everybody to edit that to make it friendly and warm and really encouraging. Then we have a third opportunity on March 1st. Actually, we have two opportunities on March 1st. March 1st is when the engagement committee is going to have the community brunch at La Ferme Restaurant starting at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And we should definitely, as a committee, have a very nice, colorful, friendly flyer on the front table and probably on each table at La Ferme for that afternoon event. I'd like to see us put a flyer on every table. We did that, I think, one year and did get some interest from it. And the chair of the engagement committee is Keith Allen. And When I've talked to him about it every time, he said absolutely yes, he would love to have our flyers there. So we have a February 20th formal announcement, more formal, still friendly, and then a March 1st flyer to have at the La Firme event. And March 1st, of course, is when the next March newsletter comes out. And we should have a slightly different article in the March newsletter. So those are separate documents, all parallel and probably a lot of overlap amongst them. All of them should have the same friendly tone, make it clear it's really easy to run as a candidate in March editions, not a whole lot of bureaucratic paperwork involved. So those are the three opportunities. And then we have the Friday weekly wrap-ups from March 1st to March 21st. March 21st is when the filing deadline is for the candidates. So we should have something in the Friday wrap-ups each Friday in March saying, hey, candidates, now's the time, step up, please. And we can also put in a separate notice like a week before, say March 14th, to say 1 week, now or never, so step up now. So there are really 4 or 5 opportunities here for us to put out public notices of various kinds on this. Does that make sense? Elizabeth, go ahead.
Okay, so at what point do we start attaching the two documents that we worked on? One, what does your council do and council member do, and the other one on the budget priorities?
We put the What Does Your Council Member Do link in the February newsletter. So that's already
Okay.
out.
All
And
right.
in the March 1st newsletter, we should have both links, right, to both
Okay.
documents. I hope we'll have the financial flyer too by then. And
Okay.
again, thank you, Elizabeth, for your work on the financial draft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it was Mike, I just,
No,
right?
You and Mike
Zelinski.
both
You
did a
had the
great
best-
job on that.
you had the
But
most
both of those should be
We
ready.
went back and forth.
for
We went
sure.
back and
Right.
forth. That's true.
And we can also, I hope they'll be ready so we can do links to both of them when we do the announcement on the 20th of February, which is the official opening of the election cycle. So I'm thinking that we put the links in basically everything that we put online from now on, both of those documents, both of those flyers
Mhm.
from now on.
And what about at La Ferme Restaurant? Would you have printouts attached to your
I
general
think
invite?
we could. I think we could do that. There might be some concern about putting the financial information for the village out in a public way like that, but there's absolutely no reason why we couldn't attach the What Does Your Council Member Do flyer.
Uh-huh.
We'd have to think about that, whether we want the financial information. I mean, a small village is somewhat vulnerable to outside scammers trying to, do financial shenanigans,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so it may be the better part of prudence not to put a flyer out on the table at La Firme that says, hi, we have $7.6 million in our reserve funds. That might be not something that we necessarily want to put out in a public place like that. Putting it out on the listserv would be more public than having it be in the official announcements, which is where it would be now. So I don't know if you have strong feelings about that. Mike Z, what do you think?
It's public information, but it's, you don't have to make it more public, I guess. There's more public information and the fact
Yeah,
that
it's
it's
certainly
available.
it's
So,
public information, but that
I'm-
doesn't mean we have to put it on a billboard.
yeah.
I would think that a flyer at an event would be less public than something online.
Well, it depends. I mean, who picks up on the village emails, right? That Mike Silliman puts out. Mike, do you have any sense, Michael Silliman, do you have any sense that non-residents are reading our village emails?
Well, the budget is a public document and it's posted on our website right now. I mean, the full budget's on our website going back years and years and years. So that data, we're not worried about the security of that data. That's all public. So I'm not worried
Okay.
about that. I'm more worried about the space at La Firme and what the brunch feels like if we have multiple flyers. That entryway, if you're setting up a little table like that, gets pretty crammed, especially if people are trying to, write name tags and those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we have had over 300 people at these events. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for you all to get in front of people, but we might want to think about, targeting that outreach versus having, 3 or 4 different printouts.
Yeah, I'd be okay
No,
with
no, I
having.
wouldn't. It would all be one, which they'd just be attached behind, wouldn't they? I mean, you'd have
Yeah.
your cover
Yeah.
message plus the 2 attachments all stapled
Right.
together.
Right. The what does your council member do is only one page. So if we just did that, it would just be a front and back. Our
Mhm.
committee message, and then on the back of it, the what you, and that might be the simplest way to do it. Um, if we wanted to have the financial stuff too, we could just staple them together and put them on each table. They don't need to
Uh-huh.
just be in a stack at the front there, because you're right, that front
Uh-huh.
entrance is a little crowded, Michael.
Mhm.
But having a couple on each table
Uh,
is very doable.
It just
Um,
seems to me that it would be a great opportunity because some people may not, read the newsletter or download or link on whatever's attached. But if it's there in front of them, they might pick one up and look at it.
mhm.
Uh, so
And
I think it'd be too bad to not do anything for it.
okay, well then I think what I'm hearing from you is that we should do both of the attachments in effect, the what does your council member do and the financial piece, you know, as attachments on March 1st to our front page cover letter, which says, please run.
Yeah.
That's very, it's two pieces of paper stapled together,
And
front
it's
and
also
back.
going in the March 1st newsletter, right?
Yes,
All of
ma'am.
it. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Those links will be, I think, in everything we put out from now till, March 21st, till the candidates
Mhm.
file. Okay.
Yep.
Is there anyone who disagrees with having both of those attachments available at Love Firm on March 1st? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Mm.
Okay, sounds to me like we have a consensus to go ahead and put both links, or rather both pages attached to our cover page on March 1st. All right. Decision? Yes? Good.
Sure.
Everybody in favor, please say aye, just to get on the record.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Heard you there, Nomi, on the phone. Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Good. Thank you for calling in from Florida.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Logan, we're going to turn the floor over to you for a
Do
progress
you
report.
want to, Marty, before you leave that other thing, we did have a comment on the budget piece that we probably ought to
Let's
handle
do
if it
that right
falls in
now.
that.
You're exactly right. That's not other issues. Let's do that right now. And everybody got the draft this morning. And again, thanks to both Elizabeth and Mike Z for polishing that up so beautifully. I
Well,
think it's good to go. Any comments on the draft to send back to Jeff Blander and to you, Michael Silliman? Thank you both for working on that financial info piece. Any changes?
No, looks good to me.
Looks good.
okay.
Okay.
Everybody good? All in favor of going ahead and sending it to Michael Silliman and Jeff Blander?
Okay.
Please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we will send it along to you. I can send it to you tonight, Michael, or tomorrow morning. So we appreciate again very much you doing that financial information piece. Gives people a big picture of what the finances look like, which an amazing number of villagers have no clue about. So this is probably an important piece of public information on its own right, let alone helping with the election. So thank you again. All right.
Okay.
Now, let's see where were we. Progress report on the voter roll verification work. Logan, over to you.
Yeah, sure. So after going through all the data, I looked for unique values between the voter roll from last year and then the office list from this year that Michael sent me. And I found 829 unique values for people. So I made a mistake in the email I sent yesterday. It's not 830, it was actually 829. And of the 829, 428 were on both last year's voter roll and then this year's office list, so they should be fine. And those are the people in white. There were 10 unoccupied houses, and so that's in purple. And I think some of those might be absentee owners or someone might have passed away or being sold. And then in yellow, there are the people that were only on the voter roll from last year, and that was 193. And then in blue, those were the people only on this year's office list, and that was 198.
Wow.
And most of
Wow.
those people and so when I looked for unique values, that picked up things like the difference between Jeff and Jeffrey. It didn't combine those. Like that is two people.
Mhm.
So I think most of the people in blue and yellow you guys probably know personally and will be able to comment, this is the same person, and I can get that resolved after the comment period. So yeah.
Yeah, the first screening should help a lot to get those 193, 198 numbers down, somewhere maybe under 100, we hope, so that the
Mhm.
ones we actually have to do an in-depth check on are fewer than that. But that shows you how much difference there is between the directory list, which is basically the office list, and has me as Marty, and the voter roll, which has me as Martha. Um, Y'all, please call me Marty, although I would answer to Martha Jane, but only my mother calls me that. So my point is that the directory is in fact quite different from the voter roll. And thank you for the summary there. Does anyone have any questions for Logan?
Well, I just have a question about name variations. So what is the source? In other words, I don't recall being asked what name I wanted on voter. So where do you get the voter registration names
Okay, the
from?
voter registration name is from last year's voter roll, which of course is based on the verified voter roll also from the year before, and from the county list. So the way you were listed on the county registration
Uh-huh.
is generally the way you are on the VMA voter roll.
Okay. All right. Right.
Now, if you'd like to change
Well,
that for VMA's purposes, we can do that.
I'm just saying in the future to make less corrections for, I don't want to say obvious things, but things that could be avoided just because of name variations. Is there a way to?
Yeah, I think what
Is
you're
there
getting
a
at is the discrepancy between the voter roll, which has the more formal version of most people's names,
Uh-huh. But then
and
where that came from, and you're
yeah,
saying
that
it
came
comes
from
from the
generally from
county.
the county registration list originally, and
So
then has
that's a
been
long
verified
time
the last.
ago. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then the informal names are from the office list because that's the directory version.
Right.
And there's a big difference, like, 190 some people,
Yeah.
different names. And our first screening is what we, the committee, should do in the next few days, which is go through
Mhm.
and screen out the duplicates for Logan and see what we've got left when we get to the A2 and A3 stages of the spreadsheet. So
Okay.
first cleanup is us. Get out your brooms and help clean it up.
Yeah.
The
I would just wish there was some way to eliminate that extra step every year because it
uh,
obviously, but I'm
unless the
not.
office, yeah, unless the office list were as formal as the voter registration list, there will always be the discrepancy between Jeff and Jeffrey or Marty and
I mean,
Martha.
because we self-enroll in the directory. Everybody's asked to put in their names
Right.
of their family members or whatever, and we're not necessarily thinking about what the legal name was on the original voter registration with the state of Maryland,
That's
right?
true.
And that was
That's
many,
true.
many years ago. I don't remember what I put there either. But
Yeah.
So
Well,
okay.
you can see it in this in the Doc A that Logan just sent around. You'll see how you were registered with the state of Maryland, because that's probably where that
Okay.
was sourced from, because you've been a resident for a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Any other
do
good
find
questions? Any other
I do
questions?
find real quick, Marty, I do find that for the names, one, people's names change pretty frequently. We have a lot of people that with maiden names and preferred first names. So I try to honor all of those requests on the list
Mm-hmm.
on the office list, that then goes into the directory as people desire. So I would, if you are choosing between their list, how they registered on the voter roll from years ago, or my office list, I would err on the side of my office list because that's probably what people actually want to be called.
Yeah, we've done that with last names, where last names changed. We did that last year, right, to correct last names to the office list last names. And then we called people to ask them what their preferred first name was for the voter roll. So we didn't ever just do it arbitrarily. But yeah, you're right. Where a maiden name has changed or somebody's, whatever. Um, the last names, Logan, take notes on this part.
Mhm.
Where the last name has changed, the office list last name is the correct one. Where the first name has changed, that needs a phone call to ask the
That might
person
just
what
be
their preference
preference.
is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We also have a couple where the spellings are different, and that could just be a typo. So that needs a quick phone call saying, "Hi, please help us spell your name right for the voter roll." And then we can get back to Michael. I mean, it's a combination of these two different lists. And the lists have two different purposes. I mean, the directory is incredibly helpful and useful as a community service. The voter roll is actually a formal legal document, that we have to produce the ballots for and from. And so, they're never going to be identical, but we certainly use them to verify each other, right? And try to keep up with this. And Michael, thank you again. I want to commend you publicly for doing a much better job last year and I think this year of trying to keep that office list updated. You and Aaron really deserve kudos because that is not an easy task.
It's an ongoing job. Yep.
Yep, it is. And so
I-
Logan,
I have another
questions?
comment along Elizabeth's lines. Seems like a lot of
Yes,
those dupes and different name things are probably things that have existed for quite a while, years. And haven't has that a lot of that been worked out? Has a lot of that stuff been worked out last year? Do we already know, what the mismatch is and what the correct answer is?
Yeah,
Do we
pretty
have to
much.
keep doing that each year?
Pretty much. I mean, it hasn't taken me, I got through about halfway in the list, down the list in about 10 minutes
Yeah.
because of having been the one who did this process last year. I
Okay.
knew that, for example, Jeffrey Goldberg was right and that Jeff
Okay.
Goldberg was not right for the voter roll. And I could remember that, I have my notes from last year, the people we talked to last year too. So yeah, a lot of this stuff is institutional knowledge. And
Yeah.
so, don't lose a whole lot of sleep over it, but there are people probably that that I might not or that others of us might not. So give it a quick run through.
So
And
unless somebody went and actually changed their name on the county roll to match what they want the village to call them, it's going to keep showing up as a mismatch, right?
it will,
Yeah.
but the screening
Okay.
doesn't take too long. This
Okay.
first screening really is actually pretty quick process because it's just the five of us kind of rolling through it. And then Michael getting in with his updated list as soon as you can get that done, Michael Silliman. Thank you for that. And then Logan will have Doc A2, and he uses that to do the A3 spreadsheet, which is where we really do the calls and the verification process. So
Okay.
it's very
Yeah.
systematic.
Marty, one other document that I have from the office perspective that might be helpful for Logan is the list of all the changes that we have made them and the date stamp of those changes. So if people aren't showing up from last year's voter roll on this year's office list, I probably know why. It's probably because they moved out or passed away or something. So I can send you over that document with the timestamp of all the changes. So you could go through that list of 100 people that aren't on the list anymore and at least have a rationale for why they were removed.
That would be terrifically helpful. Yes, please send that to the committee and to Logan. That's great, Mike. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Michael, for that. This
Marty,
is a process. Yeah.
well, Marty, when do we need to get to Logan our results of our review of the first generation here?
In the next couple of days, if possible.
This
I
week,
mean,
okay.
this week
Alright.
would be good. I'm going to try to finish my markup tomorrow, but I think Wednesday, Thursday would be good. And Logan, in terms of your next assignment, once you hear from the five of us and you got the extra information from Michael Silliman, we give us basically the A2 document and note in the comments section, that little notes section of each spreadsheet where you got the info from. So it would say, Michael Silliman's latest list, or or Mike
Like
Z's.
confirmed by Marty or something like that.
Exactly.
That Jeff
So-
and Jeffrey are the same. Okay.
Right, exactly. So that and you have a record. Again, it all needs to be auditable. And so you have a record of where that information came from. So
One clarification or question I had was, so in the case like Jeff versus Jeffrey, for example,
mhm.
because the county roll has Jeffrey, is the final voter roll for 2026, will that also be Jeffrey or would it be Jeff? Because
It
that's
would
what
be
he prefers.
Jeffrey,
It'd be
unless the
Jeffrey. Okay.
voter tells us in Martin's Additions that they don't want to be that way on our list. But for future years, it should be Jeffrey because that's the official. And
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of state and county law about having your village election voter roll conform where it can to the county voter roll.
Okay.
There's that you don't need to get in the weeds on that, but yeah, the county roll is an official legal document, just like our eventual village roll is a legal document. So yeah, good questions.
Great.
Isn't this fun? Are you having fun with this stuff?
Yeah, it's been interesting. And I had one more comment just to kind of wrap up my section. And that was, I know in our last meeting, Jack brought up potentially using Google Sheets as well
Mhm.
as Excel.
Mhm.
And I know that we decided mainly on using Excel, but for me, it's just as easy to receive Excel documents as well as Google Sheets documents from everybody. So I'm okay like getting the documents via both.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
so
So Jack, if you wanted to use Google Docs to send your markup to Logan, you could use Google, right?
Yeah, that might be easier for like Mike. If you don't have
yeah.
Excel downloaded, you can use Google Sheets still.
And I'm happy to teach you how to use that as well, Mike.
Okay. Well, there's got to be a thousand tutorials on this that I can quickly take a look at. So if I have some questions, more questions, I may bug you.
Okay.
You know who to call, Mike Z. Thank you
Yeah.
both, Logan and Jack, both for that. Again, the key thing here is to keep track of who sent you what. So Logan, you're the command central on
Mhm.
that.
I'll send out 2 emails tonight, one with the like just to resend the Excel and then one to send the Google Sheets version. And yeah.
That'd be great. And your phone number.
And
your
my phone number, yes.
Okay. Any other questions for Logan? Well, then I'm going to wrap up this section and say thank you very much. And, we're ready to rock and roll here. So glad to have you aboard. And then next item is responses to the council's actions on the 2026 election regulations. I know there was considerable disappointment about not adopting all of the structural recommendations that the committee put forward. Art, are you still there, Arthur?
Yes.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
One of the things that the council did not adopt that surprised me was that section in Roman numeral 3, number 3 about having the election regs actually just say the standard practice to identify the standard practice, which is to say that the village staff shall post the election information as specified by the committee, which of course, as you know, has been the normative process for 50 years or more. And I wondered, you were the one last January who sent the committee an email saying that, pointing out that the regs didn't actually say that. I mean, it's been implicit forever, and so this year's committee put that little language in there that said, the staff shall post the election information as specified by the committee. And then at the council meeting, you kind of skipped over that and didn't even discuss it, but didn't put that language in. So since you were the one who pointed out the regs were missing that language, I was wondering what was thinking on not.
Well, I think, yeah, the regs, we're missing it, but it isn't obvious that it needs it. And we don't have to say everything that gets done in the regulations. You send it in, it gets posted. So I didn't think that it needed an explicit statement. I mean, there's everything in the world that goes on that we don't put into a regulation. We just do it. So it didn't seem to be, it was missing, and it's still missing, and I don't think it harms anything that it's missing.
It's your understanding that that is the expectation,
Yeah,
that things will get posted the way we send them, right?
well, there is another thing going on there, is that there may be issues with what is being asked to be posted. So that was another consideration, that perhaps the committee was sending in things that ought not to be posted. And
Well, who
so
would decide that?
in this case, it would be first would be the manager, and then probably consulting with council.
So that would give the manager or council members who are, again, potentially incumbent candidates, the ability to veto or rewrite
Possibly, yes.
election
Now,
regs?
here's an example. Suppose the committee says that we are only going to favor women in the coming election. If you're a woman, make sure you send your name in, you get special treatment. The manager would look at that and say, no, we're not going to post that,
Yeah,
even though the election
Arthur,
committee said it.
Arthur, time out, Arthur.
Yeah.
That is almost insulting to the committee. We're very
I'm
principled
trying to come
people.
up with an example that is obviously a non-starter.
But why would the committee do that?
Who knows? That's the question. Who knows what the committee might come up with?
Is this,
So
are we
this is
having
just,
yeah. Is this a hypothetical
Totally
discussion,
hypothetical.
Or are there, no, I mean, are there prior times when something the election committee felt should be posted wasn't posted
Yes.
as written?
not that I can recall.
Let me answer that. Yes, last year, 4 times, a sentence was deleted from our notices where we said that residents were welcome to participate in our committee meetings, and that sentence got repeatedly deleted from our election meeting notices without the committee's knowledge or permission. We sent in the notice one way and it was printed. that may have been just a mistake, but it happened 3 times, 4 times in a row. And there were other things too, like where a link was not, again, I think these are errors. I don't think this is anything deliberate.
Yeah.
But the principle that, in fact, when the committee of 5 people here take time to look at something and draft something very precise about the election info, that the election committee really are pretty much the election experts.
Well, Marty, you're thinking of your present group that we know to be honest and honorable and competent. That says nothing about any future group of people.
Well, one would hope that the future people would also have
Yeah,
integrity.
we have a lot of hopes, but we also have safeguards.
Yeah, I guess I'm concerned that, there is obviously a potential conflict of interest between and having the election notices be altered, even by mistake, it can cause problems. We certainly don't expect them to be altered intentionally by an employee of the incumbent candidates, because that looks like it skews the election. I mean, that doesn't pass the smell
It
test.
could look like that to some people. It might not
Yeah,
look
it
like
sure
that to other
could.
people.
So that's why there was this 50-year, I mean, Gene Sperling spelled out this 50-year plus history of never publishing something that was not approved by the election committee. I mean, she was real clear that had never happened until,
I think she may be misremembering there.
you think?
Can I, instead of arguing about this, could
Right.
I
Yeah,
suggest that if this comes up, then we fight that battle when it
when
arises?
it arises.
yeah. But the
'Cause it sounds
understanding,
like
I think,
we've proposed something, the committee decided not to take it up, and so unless there's a proposed concrete next step, I would propose that we move on.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Well, I agree with that because I think that, the regs are set for this year anyway and for the foreseeable future. Maybe something we look at next year is coming up with some language like we proposed already, but also incorporating a procedure for if there's a rub or an issue. How does it get handled? Right now, it's going to be
right, it's
kind of
just up in the air because it doesn't
There
say.
could be a process that's spelled out, maybe. I don't know. It's just a thought, but that's all I'm saying
Okay.
for future reference.
Yeah, for future reference. And again, I think the understanding for us going forward this year, just on a practical level, is that, the committee will send things that are pretty carefully vetted by us. And if there are any questions from the staff, don't just make changes without talking to us. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Okay. The other question I had for you, Arthur, about the regs was in the part at the end, and then Michael Silliman, this is a question for you too. There's a section back at the end where we're talking about the vote counting and how the committee list this year suggested that it be corrected to say that Michael Silliman records the vote counting session with Electech. Now, Michael Silliman, you're the one who told us that, which is why the committee made that change, but the council skipped over it. So the regs currently read that Electech is going to record the vote counting session. Michael Silliman, can you clarify that?
Oh yeah, I think that probably is a mistake. I do think I'm the one that records it. I mean, either of us could record it as long as it's recorded by somebody, right? But
Yes.
it's a public session, and I record it, and people are allowed to come to that meeting and observe it. So
Correct. Yeah. Well, right now it doesn't say that you record it, Michael. It says that Electech will. So
I'll just work that out with Electech about who's recording it, whether it's me or them, on their behalf. It'll just depend on whose Zoom meeting it is. But,
okay, and confirm with the committee that
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
sure. Yep.
Okay,
If I'm the one that sets up the Zoom meeting, I will record it. That's just kind of standard practice.
Okay. Good to have that confirmed.
Mhm.
Any other questions or responses to the council's actions on the regs? I'm glad we talked about those two. All right, moving on. Committee report for the February 19th council meeting. Committee members, council members, is there anything you want us to focus on? Anything you'd like more info on? I'm looking at you, Alexa, and you, Arthur.
Nothing for me.
Alexa? Anything?
I'm sorry. What?
And what question is there anything you would like the committee to especially focus on in our report for the council
No.
meeting on the 19th? No? No?
No. No, that's up to you.
Okay. Well, if something comes up, let us know. Otherwise, it'll probably be a pretty short committee report for the February meeting. Okay?
Okay.
And the only other thing on that council meeting committee report that I could think of is that we will probably encourage the council members to be more active in succession planning and helping to recruit additional candidates to run. Because you can ask individuals to run. The election committee can't solicit any individuals, but council members could. And so, Arthur, at our last committee meeting, you said that you might talk about that with the council, and maybe this February council meeting would be a good time to have that discussion with
Good.
council members about encouraging
Right.
additional candidates to run.
Thanks for reminding me. Good.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I suggest, Marty, that be included in the discussion, the bullet point you'll most likely include on actions to encourage more candidates to run. So where we're preparing various publicity pieces to go out, and that we've also asked the council to help us with that aspect of succession planning.
Okay.
Great point. Great
Mhm.
point. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Anyone else have thoughts on that? Okay. Number 5, any other election items that need attention? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Are we good?
Yeah.
Logan, you have any questions for us? Okay. Council members, any questions, thoughts, suggestions?
Nope, nothing here.
Committee members.
Just one
yes.
one thing I didn't note down was, Marty, when you're going to send the revised piece on the financial on the budget to Jeff and Michael.
I could send it
Simon.
tonight or tomorrow morning. Do you have a
Okay,
preference?
just to have a date there that you're going to be sending it immediately, basically, right?
Yeah, I'll be sending it tomorrow morning. First
Okay,
thing tomorrow
good.
morning.
All right.
It's good.
Mhm.
Any other issues, questions, concerns? Jack, thoughts? Okay. Good luck with your travels. You're on the road a lot this week. Nomi, thank you for calling in from Florida. Mike, and of course, Elizabeth and Logan, Alexa and Arthur.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
we're wrapping
okay.
up. It is 8:37 p.m. Maybe have a call for adjournment.
Well, wait a second. Are there any committee
Committee
assignments?
assignments?
Only for me to write up the draft committee report for the February council meeting.
Well,
And I'm gonna,
and also you're going to send the report to Blander. That was another one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh, and of course, we need to get back to Logan with our markups on the
Right.
spreadsheet A.
Right, we all need to do that. So
Yep.
those are
I'm
3
gonna send
things.
the committee reports, election committee reports to Michael so that he can post them.
Yep. Yeah, I'll send
Okay,
those to you.
so
So
all right,
Mike's
so
gonna
there are
do
4
that. Mike Z will do that. Yeah, assignments.
All right.
Okay. And Logan, you've got your assignments. So thank you for that. It's a pleasure working with you. And again, any questions anytime, feel free to contact the committee. We're very glad to be working with you. Jack Swain, thank you for doing your Fathom to help us do the minutes. And Elizabeth, as always, thank you for taking the good notes and doing the minutes. All right, now we're ready for a motion
You're
to
welcome.
adjourn. Anything
Right.
else?
This
Okay.
is record time.
I'm proud
Yeah,
of us.
thanks, Marty. Nice job.
And Michael Silliman, thank you for joining us tonight. I really like having you here. It's very helpful.
Thank you, Michael. And I want to also add my praise to others that have commented about how lucky we are to have such a excellent street cleaning contract,
Yeah.
more than once, twice, 3 times, and then up and down the sidewalk twice, at least on our place. And, so it was, and I talk to people who come here to work in the neighborhood that say they can't get out of their neighborhood still, and they have to have their employer from here drive all the way halfway across Washington to pick them up and bring them back. So
Mhm.
it's really exceptional. So
Well,
Thank
that's
you.
what having your own village does.
yeah,
Yep.
please pass on the thanks to the Rollingwood people, because it'd be nice for them to get some
Rollingwood-
positive feedback.
Rollingwood
It is
Ci-
Rollingwood.
The
Right.
Rollingwood
The Rolling
Citizens
Acres,
Association.
Rolling Acres.
Rolling
crew.
Acres, I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rollingwood Citizens Association asked if we could incorporate them into our village. So-
Contract.
and I live in DC, and I dug my car out of about 4 feet of ice this morning. So
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Michael.
just to confirm what you said, yes, you all have it very nice.
Well, good work, Michael. Thank you. And again, many, many compliments and much gratitude to the Rolling Acres group.
Yeah.
Well,
They
I'll
were,
add one little note to that, that I found it the last time we did, 15 years ago or so, just before I got on the council, we used to do snow shoveling of the sidewalks, and it cost more than the roads.
Yeah.
Now with the technology they're using, that shifted around, that allowed us to think, even contemplate having it done. So technology moves along.
yay, team. And
Yeah.
Arthur, thank you for including at the council level, including the sidewalk shoveling in the budget, because people were really asking for that and they really missed it. And it's really nice to have that
Yeah,
back.
that was one of our new ventures.
A real public safety issue from the
Yeah.
point of someone who spent some time in a wheelchair not so long ago. I'm really grateful when the sidewalks are shoveled.
Yeah.
Thank you again. All right. We're
Okay,
ready to adjourn. All right, all in favor?
8:40. Oh,
Yeah, it is
aye.
8:41 p.m. We are hereby adjourned. Thank you everyone very much.
Okay.
Good productive
Good
meeting.
night. Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you.